Welcome on into the Five Stripes Countdown. Abe Gordon here live in the Kia Studios getting you set for Atlanta United as they hit the road one more time to take on Nashville SC in search of their first road win of the season. And up at Geodis Park right now is the birthday girl, Madison Cruz. Madison, happy birthday. How's Nashville treating you so far?
Pretty good. Thank you again. Appreciate it. You know, it was fun just getting to hang out. Got to go to a really, really nice pizza place downtown in Broadway as well. Had an espresso martini as well. That, what a way to bring in the birthday as well. And also, hopefully going to be bringing back 3 points to the A2 for the special day.
Well, that's what they're hoping to do, maybe give you a little gift there. But it's going to be tough for Atlanta United. This is a Nashville team that's got 10 wins at home this season. Only 1 loss, 3 draws. In the meantime, Atlanta United, of course, still looking for their first road win of the season. They played a, let's call it sleepy 0-0 draw against Toronto FC. And Nashville SC, they came off a 5-1 win against Orlando City. The injury report is brought to you by Emory Healthcare, the official team healthcare provider of Atlanta United. It remains the same. Matt Edwards with a hamstring, Latte Loth with a hamstring, and Jay Fortune with a foot injury are out. Maddie, before we get to the starting lineup, just your first initial thought on what it's going to take for Atlanta United to get a road victory tonight.
Listen, Nashville's a very good team. And, there's a reason that they're one of the top teams in the East right now and what they can do. You have Sam Surridge, who is right now leading the Golden Boot race. You have Hani Mukhtar. Them two finally getting the chance to connect on the field, that's dangerous. That's a lethal combination, and that's something Atlanta United's going to have to watch out for tonight. But here's the thing. One things that Nashville do well, they get into the attack as well. But also, too, they have a lot of weaknesses defensively too, and that gives the opportunity for Atlanta United to jump in as well, especially in transitions, utilizing the wide spaces to put in those crosses to also really engage the wingers as well.
And before we get to more specifics on the game, what have you seen from an Atlanta United fan base that maybe is traveling up there? Obviously, it's been a tough, long season, but this is one of the more favored road trips for Atlanta United fans, just an easy 4-hour drive up north.
Yeah, I know from Kennesaw at least, it was only like 3.5. It was a great drive for us coming up here yesterday. But, I've seen a couple, there's a little bit of red and black in the seats right now as fans are slowly making their way in. But, I also saw a couple fans walking around Broadway earlier today as well. Saw a couple of jerseys as well. So it's going to be an interesting crowd because it's going to be, I think, more of a split than people realize because of the short drive. And that's going to make for a really fun atmosphere in this derby.
Nashville's here to take home all 3 points. This is a team that is fighting for seeding, so Atlanta United can expect the best out of Nashville here in this one. And unfortunately, Maddie, that's kind of the discussion we have to have about Atlanta United is can they play spoiler for some of these teams down the stretch? And they're going to have a real opportunity to do so because there are a number of teams fighting for postseason seeding or fighting to get into the postseason left on the schedule. Again, what do we got? 7 games remaining here. 4 of them are away, including tonight, 3 of them at home, and there are a number of playoff teams. So it's not where Atlanta United wanted to be, but the role of spoiler is there for them to play.
And something spoilering is kind of what Atlanta United did very well last season, too. You look at the Inter Miami situation in the best of 3. You look at Montreal as well in that wild card matchup. You had a lot of matches as well, and now down the stretch, that's where you need to start kicking it into gear. We got to come into this one and, find the 3 points and find a way to spoil Nashville. Listen, Nashville's given up 32 goals this season. They have their moments defensively. If you can attack them in transition and you can get something going on the offense, then you'll be in good shape because then you'll be able to come back and compete in those moments. You already got the clean sheet against Toronto. Continue to build on that and come into this one and find something in the offense to also work well with what you have going on defensively too. That needs to be key here. And you know what? And it's one of those things too, you're playing spoiler. You got to come in too. Feed off of the energy of the derby as well. You're going to have a lot of home fans here too. Feed off of that energy a little bit.
I'm not going to lie here. I did not do the math myself, but I do believe that Atlanta United needs a win to stay alive in whatever playoff race we pretend them to still be involved in. But
basically, so from what I was told from the league, as well as Doug Robertson tweeted earlier this week too, Atlanta United needs a win. If they get a loss or a draw and the Red Bulls beat Columbus, then they are mathematically out of the playoffs. So it's one of those situations where you are also looking at the scoreboard, watching almost, and looking at that matchup against New York Red Bulls and Columbus, because basically, if you're an Atlanta United fan, you're hoping that Columbus can pull through and get the victory over New York as well, because that also is a big key to look at when you are looking at how the standings are going to look at the end of this one.
And that brings me to a comment we made post-game, myself and Mike Conti, a week ago, and that is that who cares what the end result is? I think you just need to be pushing for 3 points, especially when you get to 60, 65, 70, 75 minutes. And I use the term reckless. You can use the term brave or courageous, but I really want to see this team go for it. Didn't feel like they were fully committed to going for it against Toronto. I think obviously because Toronto wasn't overly interested in matching Atlanta and playing a game of soccer. Yeah. But I still want to see Atlanta United really go for it if they're in position. And if it costs them a draw, then so be it.
I agree with you. I think you're to a point now where you are looking at playoff. You are still having that in the back of your mind, because there is still a way you get out of this. You can come in here and get a win. But I think you have to go into this matchup wanting a win. It can't be if this team loses and we do this, then we're still in. No. You want to go in and you want the 3 points. You're hungry for the 3 points, and you want to battle and you want to fight for the 3 points here today against Nashville. That's what you want. You want to come in and give a really good performance, and you want to give a good show as well up against a really solid Nashville team, because, listen, they have weaknesses. We talked about it so many times before. They have abilities and they have ways where you can get behind, you can do it. They've only have one loss here at home. Let's make it 2 tonight.
We do have the starting lineup, so we're going to bring them your way, and then Maddie on the other side will get a little bit more in depth on them. It is, as you might expect based on the performance a week ago, Jaden Hibbert returning in goal for Atlanta United. Across the back line, Pedro Amador, Enea Mihai, Stian Gregerson, Ronald Hernandez. Bartosz Slisz in the midfield, and how about this? Steve Alzate getting his first start there in the midfield. Luke Brennan on the left, Alexei Moranchuk in the middle, Miguel Almiron wearing the armband on the right, and now fit enough and recovered from, I believe it was a calf injury if memory serves, Jamal Tiare gets the start up top. When we come back here on the Five Stripes Countdown, we will give some analysis on the starting 11. We'll also bring you Nashville's starting group as well. Madison Cruz up there at Geodis Park. Abe Gordon here back in Atlanta in the Kia Studios. The Five Stripes Countdown continues in 5 minutes. We'll hear from Ronnie Dyla on Sports Radio 92.9 The Game. Welcome back into the Five Stripes Countdown. Abe Gordon and Madison Cruz here on Sports Radio 92.9 The Game, getting you set for Atlanta United there at Geodis Park, where Maddie is to take on Nashville SC. Real quick, we'll bring you the Nashville starting 11 before resetting Atlanta United and giving some analysis there. They're going to run a 4-3-3 is Nashville. Joe Willis in net. Defense across the back, Josh Bauer, Jason Palacios, Walker Zimmerman, and Andy Nahar. In the midfield, Gaston Brugman, Patrick Yazbek, and Andy Moyle. And then up top, a dangerous trio, Hani Mukhtar, Sam Surridge, and Jacob Schaffelberg. Again, Atlanta United going with Jaden Hibbert in the back, Amador, Mihai, Gregerson, Hernandez across the back line, Alzate and Slisz in the defensive midfield, Brennan, Moranchuk, Almiron, and Tiare up top. Maddie, let's start with the newcomer to the starting lineup, Steve Alzate. Been a guy I've wanted to see in the midfield, see how he pairs with Bartosz Slisz. We get an opportunity to do that, see that tonight. What are you looking for number 7?
I really like that he gets this start as well. I've really loved what I've seen from him in the last couple of games he's checked into the match. I mean, I think he's going to do a really good job of helping the team get forward in this matchup, which is something that you need. You want to start getting some things going, getting some action happening over up top, and I think he can do that. He can also impact the game in the attacking half, which is what you needed. That balance between him and Bartosz Slisz is going to be really fun because they can flip between a 6 and an 8 when you need to. Alzate can step up. He can go forward to get the attack started. Bartosz Slisz can do the same thing, and then Alzate can hang back and help with the back line when things are needed too. It's going to be a really fun pairing to watch. I'm really excited to see what it comes up with here tonight against Nashville.
Also excited to see TRA back in the lineup. He has had some good run when starting, some good connection up there, so we'll see if he can continue that. And then Jaden Hibbert, once again, an opportunity to showcase what he's got. And Ronnie Dyla talked about the young goalkeeper and what he's seen from him so far.
I think he grew from where he was when we come in, and to now it's a big difference. And he's have a lot of more understanding of the game. He has presence when he's in the goal. He's playing with calmness. He's reading the game well. So and he, as I said, has conceded 2 goals in 3 games, and that says something. So he gives something to the team for sure. And then it's about consistency. Can you do it over and over again?
Yeah, Maddie, this is a guy that's going to be challenged tonight. I would argue he was not challenged against Toronto FC. In my reading of the game, they had one legitimate chance, and he rose to the occasion. It was a save that required much of him, and he was there for it. This is a Nashville team, though, that's got 49 goals scored on the season, 4th most in the Eastern Conference. You talked about it, Sam Surridge, 20 goals, all on his own. Hani Mukhtar adds 14, 11 assists for Mukhtar. 10 assists from Nahar. This is a team that can put the ball in the back of the net. Hibbert needs to be big in this one tonight.
He's going to be huge. I mean, it's the one thing that we've talked about from seeing him with Atlanta United too as well, and just watching him develop as a goalkeeper. He has such a great backing with the goalkeeper crew in Brad Guzan and Josh Cohen. A lot of players that he can look to and can help. But it's one thing, too, that Jaden does really well. He's very good at those reaction stops. He's very, very solid. He's quick on his feet. He can help bring the ball forward. He can deliver those balls when needed. He's very quick. He's very comfortable with the ball at his feet, too, which is something you want to see. Stian Gregerson talked about it, too, this week, about him playing in goal and, having him be in the back of the post as well, and what he's seen from him, too. It's one thing to watch for as well, something that we noticed just from Atlanta United 2 matches. It's still something to be worked on as well as defending those set pieces. Some of those balls over the top can be a bit tricky at times, and that is what Nashville's going to do. So you got to make sure you're quick on it, make sure that you're ready to get things going as well. But it's going to be a big test for him against Nashville, but it's one that he's accustomed to and he's ready for.
Yeah, and again, I've mentioned this before. I think the good news is you're giving him these challenges, you're giving him these tests, and it's not the most pressure-packed because of your situation, your standing. And I think if he's going to – look, we certainly don't want him to make mistakes, but if he's going to make mistakes, it's in a match like this, in a season like this, in which you can kind of have some allowance for it as he learns, as he grows, and as he potentially takes the role of the number one moving forward. I want to go back to TRA. There's been, obviously, before his injury setback and before Latte Loth had returned from his a while back, I really liked what I saw from Jamal TRA. It felt like he was involved in the attack up there. Some good connection with Luke Brennan on the left. I'm excited to see those two work the connection, as well as Miggy, who's been improved in recent weeks.
And they're going to need to. You're going to have to find that connection immediately in this matchup against Nashville. That's the thing. You have to take advantage of your opportunities. Nashville's an interesting team. They can play very direct. They'll have the ball at times, but it's really in those transition moments where they will hurt you. That's something Atlanta has to watch out for. But it's the same thing the other way, too. When Atlanta is in transition and they have the ball, they got to break fast, and that's where you're going to need players like Luke Brennan, like Miguel Amaron, like Jamal TRA to be in those scoring opportunities and be in those areas where they can make some magic happen. You also are going to be relying not only on them, but also Alexei Miranchuk, who has been on fire in the last couple of matches too. He's someone who can help get the attack going as well. Those are going to be the 4 people you need to look for, but you got to start finding things in the attacking half. That's what needs to happen, and you got to be quick, and you got to make sure you're finding those threatening chances.
Ronnie Dyla spoke earlier this week, Maddie, about Nashville and the challenge that they continually provide for Atlanta United.
It's a tough game. I think they're a good team. I saw that when we played them at home as well. I think we did a very good first half, especially then. So it's going to be a lot of the same things. that's going to be important for us. You know, we are chasing our first away win, so that's an important thing.
Yeah, a couple of things going back to that May 3rd match against Nashville at home in which United drew 1-1. I believe that was the first game in which they ran 5 across the back, if memory serves. Jay Fortune was our man of the match tonight, in that night, obviously not available. But sticking with 4 across the back, and that's how it's been recently. But they tried a couple new things against Nashville then, and we're going to see what they try maybe new against Nashville tonight. Again, Alzate, the most notable name that is a new addition to the starting 11. All right, when we come back here on the Five Stripes Countdown, Mike Connie and Jason Longshore are going to hop on mic. They're going to be joined by Jonathan Spector, International Player Recruitment and Development, the head of that for Atlanta United. When we come back right here on Sports Radio 92.9 The Game. Welcome back in. Just about 25 minutes or so away from kickoff between Atlanta United and Nashville SC. Up there at Geodis Park, which is where Madison Cruz of Soccer Down Here is currently residing, getting ready for kickoff there. Maddie, we've got a couple of games underway already, including a pair of them with a scoreline. I want to start with one, though, that is currently scoreless. It is the Philadelphia Union and FC Cincinnati. This is number 1 and number 2 in the Eastern Conference, a potential conference final matchup here tonight.
Yeah, this one is very interesting. It's one where this is possibly what you're going to be seeing in the MLS playoffs. I mean, and the fact that it's scoreless right now, it's 2 really, really top teams as well. It's one that I have had circled, and I'm definitely going to be tuning in to this one as this one is happening, because it's one you have to look at, especially with how things are going with the playoffs too, and looking at what's happening.
Again, about 30 minutes in that one, you are scoreless. A couple where we do have some score lines. You've got Charlotte and New England. That one already a couple of goals. It is 1-1. Brant Bronico and Ignatius Garajo with the goal for New England there. It is tied 1-1. You also have DC United at NYCFC. Justin Hack with got a turnover and then slotted one home. So NYCFC up 1-0 in that one. Big battle for seeding going on also in New York. The Columbus Crew at the New York Red Bulls. It is number 7 versus number 9 in the Eastern Conference. Both teams desperately need 3 points to either stay or improve their seeding in this one, Maddie.
Just like Atlanta United needs 3 points as well. This is one of the matchups, if you're an Atlanta United fan, you're watching this one too, because this matchup can heavily impact Atlanta United. If Atlanta United takes matters in their own hands, which they need to get 3 points here tonight. But if they do not and they get a loss or a draw, all eyes are on that matchup, because if New York Red Bulls beats Columbus Crew, then Atlanta United is eliminated from the playoff race. So we're looking at that matchup. We're rooting for the Red Bulls. We're rooting for them as well. We're rooting for Columbus, We're rooting for them to get the 3 points on that night as well on the road. But that's something you're looking for. Atlanta United needs 3 points tonight to help seal their fate and help them get the jump in the playoff run. And
right now that one's scoreless, also scoreless, both north of the border. Montreal at Toronto FC. Kicking off alongside Atlanta United in just about 20 minutes or so, San Jose at Austin FC. Key matchup because of the standings in the Western Conference. Number 8 versus number 9. Home field advantage, play-in rounds, all sorts of things at stake when these two teams meet, Maddie.
Yeah, I love this matchup. This one's going to be really fun. Sorry, I got a little distracted because Santiago Pita just scored for Atlanta United 2 against Huntsville. Happening right now, actually, at Fifth Third Stadium. So a lot of Atlanta United action. No, this one's also really interesting with San Jose and Austin. I feel like San Jose has finally figured things out, and you're also looking at seeding, too, with Austin. Austin has been one that's been interesting this season in what they have been able to do on the field. It's a battle between number 8 and number 9. And San Jose, they've been looking pretty good, pretty hot so far.
Houston Dynamo at St. Louis City at 8:30. Colorado Rapids at Sporting Kansas City at 8:30. And the Portland Timbers at Minnesota United. Number 6 versus number 2 in the West there. And then kicking off tomorrow, number 1 versus number 5 in the West. It is San Diego FC and LAFC. But the big match tomorrow, Maddie, I think we're looking at is the Leagues Cup. Inter Miami beat Orlando City 3-1 midweek. Seattle Sounders beat the LA Galaxy 2-0 in the midweek. And so the championship match between Inter Miami and Seattle tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern, Lumen Field in Seattle.
Yeah, it's really fun. I want to go back to that San Diego and LAFC matchup because that one has a lot of implications. San Diego has already qualified for the playoffs. They are officially in. They've clinched it. It's a done deal. Done. LAFC is still searching, though. They're looking for seeding as well. And that's what you're searching for. And that's a really tough matchup, too. San Diego, it's Dreyer versus Sonny. I mean, I really have been loving seeing Sonny with LAFC. It's gotten me to tune into a lot of those games. I think he's a phenomenal player, and that matchup is going to be really interesting with the complications of everything going on there as well, and then Leagues Cup as well. You know, Inter Miami and Seattle is something I don't think I thought would be the end goal for the Leagues Cup, but I'm really excited for it. I always love the Leagues Cup. I think it's going to bring a lot of chaos, and who knows? Maybe we'll get another calling in from the stands moment with the cell phone, maybe. Who knows? Chaos can always happen in Leagues Cup.
Yeah, and this one's certainly a good setup for the Sounders. This one, again, being played at Lumen Field there in Seattle. Quick look at the standings, Eastern and Western Conference. Philly, the Union, right up front there with 54. Cincinnati right behind them with 52. And again, that is a matchup being played tonight. Nashville with 50, Charlotte and Orlando at 47, and Miami back there at 46. In the Western Conference, San Diego with 53, Minnesota with 50, Vancouver 49, Seattle 44, LAFC 41, and Portland with 38. All right, when we come back here on the Five Stripes Countdown, we'll get some tools to the match, Maddie's 3 keys in the match day mixtape as well. So keep it tuned right here. In 5 minutes, we continue the breakdown. Atlanta United at Geodis Park to take on Nashville SC right here on Sports Radio 92.9 The Game. Welcome back in. Five Stripes Countdown. Final couple of minutes before we hand things off to Mike Connie, Jason Longshore for the call of the action. Atlanta United just a few hours north, Geodis Park in Nashville to take on Nashville SC. Time to get to the tools to the match, brought to you by the Home Depot. With more ways to help take on your home projects delivered right to your door, the Home Depot, how doers get more done. You know, the way I view this, Maddie, is you got to keep it low scoring. Nashville is too potent, too dangerous to go up and down the field chance for chance with them. I say you try and keep it low scoring and then see what happens towards the end. This is an Atlanta United team that has been very good at finding points in the final 15, 20 minutes or stoppage time. And so that's what I'm looking for today. Let's find out what you're looking for with your 3 keys and the match day mixtape.
Alrighty, I teased it on the SDH network, but finally it's time to bring it to the fold. This match day mixtape is all country music. I mean, it has to be. We're in Broadway, Music City, here in Nashville, Tennessee. So let's go. Number 1 is Stand by Rascal Flatts. They performed in that free concert that was done in Broadway as well, but in this matchup against Toronto, you held up the clean sheet, and that's something that you have to build upon. It was a good defensive performance in that match and help finding more results. That's the first step. You get a really good defensive matchup under your belt, then you get to come in and you get to continue to build, especially offensively. You looked really good with Stian Gregerson and Anaemi High up there in that center back pairing, and you add Jaden to that as well. They will have to silence Sam Surridge, who is the leading Golden Boot race, as well as Hani Mukhtar. It's going to be a big challenge, but you ride on that clean sheet and continue to be sharp defensively, and you can stop Nashville's really strong attack. Number 2 is Kick Up the Dust by Luke Bryan. Atlanta only had six shots and 2 on target in that matchup against Toronto. In that last one up against Montreal, you had 7 or 8. You've got to get back to that. You have to create more on the attack. Atlanta has to capitalize on the transition moments here against Nashville, because that's exactly what Nashville's going to do to Atlanta. When you get the ball, you want to be able to get forward, and when they get extended too, Atlanta needs to find spaces on the wings. You need to get Luke Brennan, you need to get Alexi Maranchuk, get Miguel Amaron, get Jamal Tiare in those scoring opportunities. Nashville will get in the attack, but transition is when you will have the ball. Make those chances count. My last one got to bring it back to good old Georgia as well. So my third one is Georgia Ways by Cuevo, featuring Teddy Swims as well as Luke Bryan. This is a derby. Feed on the energy. I mean, something that Tristan Muyamba said in this week in training is, first of all, we have to win this game for us, for their pride. We know it's a local derby. We want to win and stay alive and try to keep going until the very end. Atlanta's done it before, and this is an opportunity to turn things around and get things moving in that direction. Stian also said it. It's a little bit extra, and you can feel it. With the amount of crowd that's coming in, there's so much red and black. There's so much yellow as well. Use that to your advantage. You need to win to keep your playoff hopes alive. Leave it all out there on the pitch. Fight until the very end and bring back 3 points to the A.
I know you mentioned Atlanta United wants to win for them, but I think they also need to win for you. Madison Cruz celebrating a birthday today, and there is no better gift than to be out in Nashville celebrating 3 points for the road squad, and certainly for Atlanta United, a team that has yet to find a road victory this season. I think, as you come down the stretch, as you look to play spoiler, as you fight your way and play out the string on this season, that's one of the things I think they're really focusing on. You want to build some confidence going into next season. You want to find a way to get a win on the road. Obviously, it's a difficult task because Nashville is so good, especially at home, Maddie.
They're very good at home. I mean, it's one of the reasons why they only have one loss on the season here at home. Atlanta's got to be the one to give it their second. They got to come out there, and they have to be who they are. It's one thing, too. You can't worry solely about what Nashville is going to do. You have to come in and you have to play your game. You have to do what you've been doing well. You got the clean sheet against Toronto. That's a good step. You have to be solid defensively in order to get things moving offensively. And now that you got that confidence now, utilize that. Now you got to push forward. Now you got to find something on the offense. You got to get something going here. And you have Jamal Tiare up top. He gives you something different. Luke Brennan has been on fire as well. Miguel Almiron has been connecting the pieces with Alexi Manachuk as well as Ronald Hernandez on that right side. Utilize the space, utilize the wings, get some things going, and you're going to get 3 points tonight. And it's going to be a fun matchup here in the Derby. There's going to be a little friendly fire going on in both sides as well.
Quick score update. DC United on the board against NYCFC. It's Pirani just before halftime in that one. Maddie, we've talked about it here a couple of times. This is a Nashville squad with the fourth most goals scored in the Eastern Conference, and it's led by Sam Surridge. It's led by Hani Mukhtar as well. If you were going to diagram how to slow down this offense, how to prevent them from rippling the back of the net, what would you suggest? Is it prevent play coming through the middle? Is it force it out wide? Is it counterattacks? Is it man marking? What do you look at Nashville? How do they create their opportunities and their goals?
Well, it's something I asked Ronnie Dyla this week in media. I asked him, how do you get 3 points against a team that has the likes of Hani Mukhtar as well as Sam Surridge? And they're a very direct, very intense team, and you got to do with offensive marking that they're going to do. Balls over your head and run-ins in behind. One thing that I think Atlanta has to do, you got to stop the input. You got to stop the crosses that are going to be coming into the box. You have to stop that attack going forward. If you stop that, you're able to stop the fire before it spreads everywhere else, then you're going to be fine. That's what Atlanta has to do immediately. You do that and you take away their strength. But Atlanta also has to cause problems as well. They can't just stop the fire for Nashville and then not do anything on the other end. You have to be able to stop what they're doing, stop the fire, then be able to take the fire right back on the other side and try to find something in the attack. You have to have dominance on the pitch. Go out there, don't be afraid, and try some things. Get some things going in the offense. That's what you have to do. Stop Nashville, stop those crosses, stop those balls in from behind. You stop that, and you get some things going forward. That's going to be the key to success this match against Nashville.
I'll be back on the full-time report to break it all down, but very excited to see Steve Alzate in the midfield there with Bartosz Slić. It's something I've wanted to see and understood the hesitation there at the time. You got to get match fit and build up the minutes, and finally we are there in regards to Alzate. Looking forward to see what that defensive midfield pairing can do, and also, as we mentioned, Jamal Tiare back up top. I think him and Luke Brennan have combined. We've seen some improved performance from Miguel Almiron of recent, and so this is a team that's going to fight. And I mentioned it earlier in the show. Get reckless, get brave, get courageous, whatever term you want to use. go for the full 3 points. And if it costs you a draw, so be it. You're looking for your first road win of the season. It's been elusive, and if it's going to come tonight, it's going to come against a team headed into the playoffs in Nashville, SC. This has been the Five Stripes Countdown. We're just moments away from kickoff live from Geodis Park against Nashville. Coming up next, it's Mike Connie and Jason Longshore, the voices of Atlanta United, right here on 92.9 The Game.
Welcome back into the Full-Time Report here on Sports Radio 92.9 The Game. Here at Geodis Park is myself, Madison Cruz, alongside Jason Longshore as Atlanta United defeats Nashville SC 1-0 to get their first road win of the 2025 season. I think for me, one thing to start off with and just be overwhelming everything as well, the performance tonight showcase what this team can do and the fight that this team has. I think defensively, it was one of the best performances of how gritty it has to be in those times where sometimes it's not pretty, but you get the job done and you get 3 points.
Yeah, I think we've talked about it over these past few weeks about Dyla ball and what Ronnie Dyla's personality he wants to see from the team, what kind of tactics he wants to see from the team, what kind of philosophy he wants to see from the team. And you got all of that tonight. He wants this team to be gritty. He wants them to be difficult to break down. He's talked about the way he wants them to defend. We saw that all over the field, not just in the back today.
Yeah.
In the front. I mean, Cayman Togashi comes in off the bench and he's running down, chasing everything. He's pressing 3 people.
Yeah.
Like you saw Jamal TRA run himself into the ground, working hard. Miguel Almiron working hard defensively. Alexei Miranchuk working hard defensively. So it's not just one player doing it. It's not just the back line. But then the flip side is with the ball. You saw the back line be very good with the ball. You didn't see bad turnovers in their own half. They worked through Nashville's pressure, and they got into the attacking half, and they created opportunities. It's all of it. It's a collective. And I think early on this year, and I understand it, when Latte Lot comes into the league, when Almiron comes back into the league, and you have talented players like Saba and others, you had a lot of players trying to show, hey, I'm good. I'm the guy. I can do things here. But it's about the collective. And I thought tonight was maybe the first time all season where you saw Ronnie Dyla's Atlanta United step to the fore and be about the, not even just 11, the 16 people who got on the field and got the job done.
I think it's something that we've talked about when we've talked on the SCH network with Atlanta United too. Jose Silva talked about it as well. You don't want to be a superhero in the match. It's 11 v 11. There's 11 men on the field, and you want to come on and you want to be a superhero. You want to come in and save the day. But there's 11 people out there. You got to work together to do that. And I think that's exactly what Atlanta United did. It wasn't about how can I help the team. It was how can we do this together. And that's what we saw against Nashville. They handled it really well, and they were able to come in and just absolutely, in my opinion, the stats might not show it. I believe at one point it was like 19 shots for Nashville. But any sort of stat will tell you, I think Atlanta United dominated this game. And I think they played Nashville and outplayed them on their own turf as well.
Yeah, they controlled the game as maybe more than Nashville did. I think Nashville at the end of the first half started to take control. They didn't get anything to show for it, but they took control. Atlanta controlled the majority of the game, and when they weren't in control, they weren't uncomfortable. And that's the thing that I think this team has struggled with all year long, is when they haven't had control, they haven't had possession, at times they haven't looked like they're comfortable in those moments. This team did, and I think a lot of that is Enea Mihai. Steele Gregerson was good tonight, but Enea Mihai, he brings something different in that back line. He's talking, he's organizing, he's making things, make sure they stay secure. Like, it's a different presence with him. I mean, moments where, Mukhtar's falling down like he always does because he doesn't really have a grasp on gravity. and Mihai is the one who's looking at him and saying, I'm not being demonstrative and crazy, just staring him down. Just like, what are you doing, man? Come on, let's play. I like what we see from Mihai. And when we talked to Ronnie Dyla when he was signed, it was kind of those things. It wasn't about I think he does give you a lot on the ball, but it was about he's a defender. He's a defender first. And he brings you that. He just makes this team feel different.
Yeah.
And I really think these additions in total make this team feel different.
Let's talk about 2 players that I think we had talked about, especially in debates with, the performances on the night. Obviously, Ronald Hernandez gets the goal tonight, leads the team to the 1-0 victory. It was a big week for him. He's back in the pool with Venezuela, as well as they're trying to make the push to the World Cup qualifying as well. Huge night for him. Huge week for Ronald Hernandez. And then Jaden Hibbert as well in between the posts. Great showing from two players that we've had the chance to get to know really well on Soccer Down Here with the twos, with everything else, covering their stories, and then Ronald Hernandez just getting the chance to speak with him and knowing how much this club means to him and bleeding for the Crest.
Yeah, I want to start with Hibbert. I think he made some plays look easier than they were, and it's so much of it is the little things of being a goalkeeper that maybe he didn't have last year, and maybe he didn't have at the beginning of this year. He's so much better with his feet moving side to side. He gets himself into position so he doesn't have to make the superhero save. He can make the comfortable save. He did that well. He managed the game. Yeah, he got a yellow card for time wasting. Good. He needed to. Good. And then he handled everything after that. He came out for a cross, the big catch on Surridge. Those kinds of things we didn't see from him when he first got here. You got to give Lewis Sharp, you got to give Elliot Parrish a ton of credit for what they've done with Jaden Hibbert. And then Ronald, I think it's obvious for if you've listened to us over the years, he's one of our favorite guys who's ever worn the Atlanta United shirt. He talks so warmly about everything associated with Atlanta, with the club, every person at the training ground, that he's always talking about how much they allow him to do what he does. And right now he's in great form. He's doing so well. He's playing well. He's turned the heads of the Venezuelan coaching staff. And these aren't just random games he's getting called in for. Venezuela right now is in the playoff spot. They have a chance if they win both and get some help, and they play Colombia in one of these. If Colombia drops points, Venezuela could automatically qualify by Tuesday, September 9th. They're bringing him in for the biggest 2 games in Venezuelan soccer history.
Yeah.
He got the call up back for that. You think that's not spurring him on right now? He gets the goal, and he looked like he was stunned for a second. I love to see good things happen to good people.
Yeah.
And Ronald Hernandez is absolutely one of the best people that Atlanta United's ever had. I'm so happy for him getting the goal tonight, and big time rooting for him in Venezuela.
Yeah, well, we have to go down to chat with Ronnie Dyla and a couple of players as well. Well, I also have to say, this is the best birthday gift ever. I have to say
yeah,
that.
Not too shabby, huh?
Not too shabby for, a 23rd birthday here in Nashville. We're going to send it back up to the studio with Abe Gordon as he's going to give you the rest of the post-game as we talk about Atlanta United defeating Nashville SC on the road 1-0 to get their first road win of the 2025 season. This is the Full-Time Report on Sports Radio 92.9 The Game.
Welcome on in to the Full-Time Report. It is Abe Gordon and Madison Cruz for the final time with this team on the road, which means us here in the Kia Studios. We will do it one more time next week, but we will be live at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Final match of the season, going to be a home game for Atlanta United, and it's going to be against a team that looks a little bit different than the opponent tonight. Next week, it's DC United. Tonight, a juggernaut, Inter Miami. They have now, with these 3 points tonight, Maddie, jumped into a tie. I haven't looked at the tiebreakers, but whatever. For second place in the Eastern Conference. This is a team that was not nearly as affected by international call-up and international duty as Atlanta United was in this match. And I think it's fair to say the expectation was probably that Atlanta United was going to be a little bit outmatched based on who was available for each team. And Mike and Jason, I think, hit it head on. Messi's in there, and Busquets, and Jordi Alba. And again, this was pretty close to a first-choice, first-team lineup for Inter Miami. A player here or there, Falcone, Segovia, Rodrigo, maybe unavailable, but this was pretty close, and you certainly wouldn't say that about Atlanta United. They fought hard for a while. The young guys, I thought, across the board, fared pretty well, and we'll get into it because it was a veteran that got things going off on the wrong foot in the 39th minute, and we'll talk about that when we get to the highlights. But all in all, I think an okay performance for Atlanta United. Just going to be honest, I don't know what else you would have expected from the group tonight.
Listen, I think Jason hit the nail on the head. Same thing with Mike. I think going up against this group, this is almost your first-team roster. I mean, look at who scored the goals. Look at who scored the goals.
Yeah.
I mean, a brace for Lionel Messi, Jordi Alba, and then Luis Suarez. I mean, that tells you everything you need to know about what happened in this matchup. I think I agree in the capacity that I think this team fought the way they could. I think you had so many young guys. And also unforeseen circumstances too. You would have hoped Stian Gregerson would have stayed in a lot longer, but unfortunately due to coming out due to an injury, Sal Mazzaferro had to step in, and I thought he played a great game coming in and at such short notice, able to come in and make an impact. And also, I mean, what a way to get your MLS debut on your birthday. Happy 24th birthday as well to Sal Mazzaferro. But, it's unfortunate you don't get the win there. But I thought he came in, had a really solid performance, and you had so many other players that came in and made an impact. Dominic Chankwi, I thought he was great on the left. I thought Cooper Sanchez was absolutely outstanding. Fighting tooth and nail. This is a matchup where you knew going into it, you were going to go up against these superstars. And the fact that the Argentinian national team decided to let Lionel Messi come and play this game, I think it's revenge, and it says everything about it.
There's a couple of angles here in regards to Messi being available tonight. And look, the Argentinian squad said they wanted to take a look at a couple of younger players as they reach the next cycle for their team. Understandable. Maybe that's truthful. Maybe that's part of it. It certainly helps the fact that they were in Miami. This is where Argentina was.
Yes.
And so, but I think there were some discussions had from Messi and his camp in relations to Inter Miami with the Argentinian national team as well. You want to talk about a revenge situation. Atlanta United knocked you out of the playoffs. I don't know if that's as much as two other aspects. With these 3 points, they are now into a tie for the number 2 seed. They are chasing standings, and I think Messi wanted to be involved if they could, and they did find the points necessary. And then also 2 goals tonight. And this is a golden boot discussion for Lionel Messi. And I think that does mean something to him as well.
I think it does. I do think Messi's a competitor. Messi's a competitor all the way through. I think Jason is also very right in, you do look back. There is that lingering emotion from last season as well. And
I think it's part of the equation.
I don't think it's the whole thing. I think you're right. I think
it's the third part of the equation.
I think a lot of it had to deal with working with seeding. I think Golden Boot, I'm not going to lie, I think Messi is a competitor, but I think that might be on the lesser one.
I think seeding is one. I think if seeding is off the table, I don't think he plays,
He's getting seeding. That is what the main focus was for Inter Miami tonight, was seeding.
Yeah,
and I think Golden Boot comes second in every single thing. It's about the team.
Does he get a bonus for that? Do you think his contract, how in other sports, if you finish, you get an MVP, or finish this or that, you get a bonus. I wonder if he gets a bonus.
But revenge, I think, also plays a part in it as well. I think not only for Messi, I think for the Inter Miami squad as well. I do think it plays a factor, yes.
Does it even feel with respect to Miami, and first off, I just can't hold a grudge that long. It's way too long of a season for me to be angry about it. And then, look at who they're running out there. This would be my mindset look who they're running out there, man.
Look at some
this isn't even the guys that beat us.
Look at some of the fiercest rivalries in sports, though.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It does not matter.
Yeah, but this isn't a rivalry. It's
slowly becoming a matchup that you turn your head when you see it. You go, oh, because of the history there.
Yeah, and I don't mean it's not a rivalry, but I don't view them as long-standing rivals.
When Atlanta gets the biggest upset in MLS history, it becomes a bit of an emotional thing.
I don't know. Holding on to a grudge that long, that's not me. I don't have that bone.
Well, it might be Inter Miami because they got the revenge tonight. It was a 4-0 win.
They did. Let's take a look at the stats here. It's brought to you by Emory, the statistical recap, the official team healthcare provider of Atlanta United. The possession, large favor towards Miami, 58% to 42%. Doubling up Atlanta United in shots, 20-10. Shots on goal, 10-3 in favor of Miami. The XG tells an interesting story, though. Miami scores 4 goals. It is a 4-0 win for Inter Miami. The XG, though, has Miami at 3.1. How about a 1.5 XG for Atlanta United? So some interesting numbers there. We are going to head back to the post-match podium because Ronnie Dyla has just stepped up to share some comments after the defeat.
What do you take away from it?
I think in the first half we were into the game, but we shouldn't give them Messi that goal. That we lose the ball in the center of the pitch there instead of play wide. before we talked about playing more direct because we had 2 strikers up there that can hold the ball, but we started to play a little bit too much sideways, I think. So we give them that, and because if you go there and 0-0, then you're still into the game. But I think we get tired in the second half, and then they get to show their quality. They have unbelievable quality in the last third of the pitch, and it get very tough for us. But we kept together. That's something I'm proud of. I think the young players did well. Jaden was good again, so that's good. I think also Juan played good in the center. So it's some positive things to take with us. We created some chances, but we need to be more effective in these chances we have, because if you're going to get something in these kind of places, you need to take those chances you get, and we didn't do that today.
Yeah, it felt like the start to the second half was that in a microcosm. You had opportunities all around the attacking third for 10 minutes or so. Then Miami goes the other way and gets the second goal. What's missing in the attacking half in your mind at this point?
I think we put it too much central. You have to go out and up and then switch and get more crosses inside the box. But again, today we know that we're not going to have the ball so much, but we have some really good opportunities there. But we don't put them. Jamal there is free on the cross from Leo. We have a good shot from Manu on the side in the first half, so we have a couple of opportunities there as well. And if you get 4 or 5 chances away, then then that's what you can expect. Then you have to convert those in the goals. So that's the main thing. We need to have be more precise in the last third.
I want to ask you about Cooper specifically. I thought he looked like he fit in very well in the first half. He ends up having to play an unfamiliar position late because of the injury to Alfonso, and he was cramping up. So what do you take away from his performance?
I really like Cooper. I think he was, his technical level is good. His understanding of the game is good. So here we have a great talent to work with in the future. So I think also Dom come very good from it. He was not involved in a lot of the chances against us. He was disciplined. He also have legs and can be good 1v1 defensively. So it's things they both have to work on, but I really think they come out of the game with honor.
So it's kind of a weird week ahead. Guys will get back maybe at some point in the week and be able to contribute on Saturday. Just what's the plan this week as you get ready for the season finale? Yeah,
they are back on Wednesday, almost everybody of them in the night. So we will have them restituting a lot on Thursday, and then we will make the match run on Friday. So I just hope everybody gets back injury free and ready to go, so we can finish the season with a victory.
All right, so a couple of interesting comments there made by the manager, Ronnie Deila. And it's interesting because some people are just going to look at the final score and be like, boy, what happened? And to go a little bit further in depth, Jaden Hibbert was outstanding tonight.
Absolutely.
And it's tough to just sit here and say your goalkeeper was really strong when it's 4 goals by. Lionel Messi, his first goal, and again, we'll hear the highlights in our next segment, but Maddie, his first goal, and there's a bad turnover that starts the sequence on behalf of Atlanta United leading into Messi's touch. But, I mean, what a treat to watch him cut inside and bend that ball and put it where it was.
It's absolutely.
You get the Luis Suarez kind of fade away, falling away, half volley. It was a full volley. He hit it at half power to keep it under the bar.
Yes.
What are you supposed to do there? I mean,
exactly.
It's some of the best goal scorers in the history of the sport doing things that only they can do. And so I thought Hibbert was great. He made a number of saves early on against Messi to keep it 0-0 at the time, but it is 4-0 ultimately, and so that's where you stand. That being said, I think they've teased it enough between Jason and Ronnie. Who do we have for our man of the match tonight?
My man of the match is going to Cooper Sanchez. I think he's a player that came in. I mean, first of all, first MLS start for Cooper Sanchez, able to come in, and I mean, he left it all out there on the field. I mean, he fought to stay in the rest of that game,
And he did all the way up to the 85th minute. He left everything out there. And it's one thing that I've always admired about Cooper Sanchez and the way that he plays the game. He leaves it out there no matter what is happening, no matter what the result is, no matter what's going on. He's going to leave it out there on the pitch. And he did that in today's game. I thought he was very good at winning a lot of those balls and trying to progress going the other way. I think he added a lot to that midfield. And like Ronnie Dyla said, I really like Cooper. I think he has a really bright future in this game.
Well, that obviously is his first man of the match of the season. But congratulations to him. A really nice performance. I also want to talk about Dom Chanqui when we come back. Saw some things that I really liked out of what he had today, and we'll talk about him and a couple of other things. We'll also hear the highlights. That's what's happening when we come back here on the Full-Time Report. She is Madison Cruz of Soccer Down Here. I am Abe Gordon. The Full-Time Report live in the Kia Studios continues in 5 minutes on Sports Radio 92.9 The Game. Welcome back in. Full-Time Report. Atlanta United falls in their penultimate match, their final road match, 4-0 to Inter Miami. And it was a good one for 40 or so minutes, just under 40 minutes. But then it fell apart, and in the second half, Messi and friends just got going, and there you have it. And so we'll hear the highlights in just a moment. Also hoping to hear from Cooper Sanchez, who I believe will be taking the post-match podium shortly. Of course, again, he was our man of the match in this one. Time to check back at some of the goals that were scored by Inter Miami. We do it in the highlights, and they're brought to you by Scana. For over 20 years, Scana Energy has made it easy for Georgians to receive the best natural gas rates and excellent customer service. Call 877-467-2262 to sign up today. All was quiet so far until the 39th minute. Tristan Moyamba does a little too much, plays around with it in the back, turns it over. It eventually finds its way to Lionel Messi, who puts together a pristine finish.
Thierry wants to come back. He just got an application of the magic spray. Here's Moyamba stripped. Messi outside the arc right side, shoots and scores. Golasso. Tristan Moyamba gives it right away at the top of the arc, and Messi is going to bury that, and it's 1-0.
Yeah, I mean, look, rightfully so. That call was about Conte's anger with Tristan Moyamba. It can't be a turnover there, but I do, again, just want to say the finish from Messi was outstanding. And I just, it sucks it comes against Atlanta United. It's still a treat to watch that guy do some of the things that he and potentially only he can do on a soccer pitch.
It's insane, and it's also crazy that, I was at Georgia Gwinnett calling a match today for CAC, and even just talking about it, like, oh yeah, I have to go do pregame and postgame for Atlanta United and Inter Miami, and I sit there and I go, wow, I get to go watch Lionel Messi again play. Like it's a treat. It's a treat to get to do it, and getting to watch him deliver goals like that, I mean, on a weekly basis, I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah, and over the course of this match, he certainly did Lionel Messi things, including setting up Jordi Alba in the game. I would say this is where it was put away when it became 2-0 in the 52nd minute. Jordi Alba from Messi.
Turns, Weigand makes the overlap. Messi will switch it all the way over to the other side for Jordi Alba instead. What a ball from Messi. Alba inside the 18, floats it over the top. Goal, Inter Miami. A goal born out of La Masia in Barcelona. Jordi Alba and Leo Messi. Two players who know one another as well as any duo you'll find in this league. Messi hits the big switch. Alba with the lollipop effort over Jaden Hibbert. 2-0, Miami.
All right, we'll continue the highlights in just a couple of moments. We definitely want you to hear the incredible finish of Luis Suarez that made it 3-0. But before we do that, Cooper Sanchez speaking at the post-match press conference.
So, getting the start against a team like, Inter Miami with the players they have, players I grew watched when I was growing up and stuff. So, pretty cool experience. But I think, we went into it knowing, it's going to be a tough game and stuff. So we're going to need to suffer at times. And, I think we had a good first half. I think it was pretty back and forth. Obviously, they had a little more chances, but I think we had our own chances. And we came in, 1-0 down in halftime. And then, second half kind of slipped away a little bit. And no, I'm proud of the performance from the group. I think, and we showed a lot of character and stuff, to defend at times and stuff and try to get goals back. So, no, happy. Yeah.
You gave as good as you got against one of the best players in your position in Sergio Busquets. What was it like going up against him one-on-one at times?
Yeah, I think it's honestly like so surreal just to, play against him because, he's the best, for me, he's the best six to ever play the game. So, someone in my position, playing against that, he's just so calm and everything. But, I think I won a good tackle against him one time. So, no, yeah. I mean, I wanted to go into the game, knowing those are big players, but honestly, it's just a game of football. So
You were called up to the U17s for a camp that's going on right now.
Yep.
What did it mean to you to be here and represent Atlanta United when there weren't a whole lot of players available?
no, obviously it means everything. I know other guys are at their national teams and stuff, and luckily I could make it back in time for the game and stuff. So no, it means a lot to, be a part of this team and stuff and get my first opportunity to start. And yeah, just thanks to the coaching staff for believing in me. And yeah.
And I know you're hoping to be part of that U17 World Cup squad that's coming up here soon. What does it mean for you as well as representing Atlanta United, representing your country?
No, I like that means the world to me. Going into the World Cup, it's a big opportunity for me as well. So to represent the club, like you said, in a good way, good positive way. So I'm looking forward to that, and hopefully we win a trophy.
Have you had an opportunity to trade messages with Luke with the 20s?
No, I haven't yet, but I should reach out to him. You're right. Yeah.
Let's see.
I should reach out. Yeah.
Go ahead.
That was Cooper Sanchez, and pretty cool to hear him talk about some of the guys that you and I have spent a couple of moments here talking about. When you look at some of the major players for Miami, Messi and Alba, Luis Suarez, Sergio Busquets, I mean, guys that literally ran through Europe for a decade plus. Now, unfortunately, tonight doing the same in MLS. But again, I think you look at moments, right? There was Dom Tranqui ripped Messi in the open field at one moment.
He did.
Cooper Sanchez, excuse me, as you heard there, stood up well against Busquets for a majority of this match, and it really is pretty cool for guys like them, for Masafero, with Alba and Busquets stepping aside at the end of this season. To say that you played against these guys, like it's just not an everyday situation. And when you're growing up, and I don't know who these guys grew up as fans of, but everyone watched Barca, right? I just naturally, everyone watched Barca as the best team in the world for a number of years while this group was there. Stepping on the same field, not backing down, being up to the challenge, the final score aside, you could hear in Cooper Sanchez just how cool a moment it was.
Yeah, that's why at the very beginning in pregame, when we were talking about this matchup in particular, how Miami is playing for seeding and they're playing to try to get a better place in the Eastern Conference, especially looking ahead to the playoffs. And this matchup for Atlanta United, it may not matter in the scheme of moving up in the placement since you are eliminated, but it does matter to players like Cooper Sanchez, like Dominic Tranqui, like Sal Mazzaferro, Patrick Weah, who got the opportunity to step onto the field and wear that badge. And for Cooper Sanchez and Dominic Tranqui, two players who have worn that badge since the academy, who have been representatives of this club since they started playing here for the Five Stripes. This is all they know. So getting the opportunity to come in and start for your team and then go up against the greats in Lionel Messi and Dominic Tranqui, standing up and having a good couple tackles, was able to steal the ball away from Lionel Messi, the GOAT. And then as well, you had Cooper Sanchez coming in and going head-to-head with Sergio Busquets, one of the best sixes to ever play the game. Like, it's a cool experience for these players to get the opportunity like this, because it only comes once in a lifetime to get to do this. And they got to do it, and they got to prove what they can do on the field and how they will represent Atlanta United.
I do want to spend some more time on Dom Tranqui on the other side, but before we hit another break, let's wrap up some of these highlights. Again, they are brought to you by Scan Energy. In the 61st minute, Luis Suarez, a ball gets popped out to him just at the 18-yard arc, and it's just a class finish. There's not much else to say.
Miami now can counter from right to left. Running down, Busquets from behind Latte Lot, but he advances the ball to Messi. Messi drives straight down the middle, ahead to Suarez off the back of his boots. He tries to poke it to Pico. Pico gets there, spins towards goal outside the 18 left side, cross the back post, headed away by Amador. To Suarez, who volleys. Goal, Lasso! Oh, my goodness! A fall-away volley from inside the arc by Suarez.
Yeah, I think the most impressive aspect of that strike, and I know if we had let the call go on as further deeper into it, Mike Conti and Jason Longshore detailed the ability to take something off and not swing 100% and not just try and rip it and shred the ball into the back of the net. But a little bit of control and a little bit of placement was enough for this one. Just an incredible finish there from Suarez. I don't know if it'll win goal of the match day, MLS match day, but I certainly think it'll be among those 4 or 5 in the running, in the voting there. And then just to try and pad a little bit of his golden boot totals, Lionel Messi one more time for the 4th and final goal in the 87th minute.
Alzate flicking forward to Togashi. He is tackled off the ball cleanly by Busquets.
I don't know how that's not a foul. Timothy Ford's taking the last half of this match off.
Here's a pitch by Jordi Alba to Messi at the penalty spot. Trap, shot, score. The Super Friends are having a night. 4-0 Miami.
Yeah, and anytime Messi gets the ball with even a little bit of space, that part of the box, he's likely to finish, and he did in that situation. 2 goals on the night for Lionel Messi, along with the assist to Jordi Alba, and Inter Miami takes this game 4-0. When we come back here, it's Abe Gordon and Madison Cruz. I do want to talk about Dom Chonqui, and again, it goes back to what we said in the pre-match in the Five Stripes Countdown. I want to see the growth from him. I think we saw a little bit of that tonight. So we'll detail what we saw out of the youngster there, and also a couple of the other youngsters, and talk about where this game kind of fell off the rails a little bit, unfortunately, for Atlanta United. So there's a lot still coming your way if you just stick around. The Full-Time Report will be back on Sports Radio 92.9 The Game. Welcome back in. The Full-Time Report rolls on. It's Abe Gordon, Madison Cruz of Soccer Down here, and it is a 4-0 defeat on the final road match of the season for Atlanta United. That is going to be a wrap on their away schedule. Just the one lone win on the season. Certainly a rough go. It wasn't that much better at home, to be honest, but still a chance to improve in this one in a week's time, and we'll have certainly plenty of discussion and coverage there in the finale against DC United. Speaking of DC, how about Dom Chonqui? Look, you like that one, Maddie?
Oh, gosh.
I did my best. It's late. I'm tired. I woke up at 5 a.m. to run this morning.
You did your best.
I thought it worked pretty well. I thought Dom Chonqui was really good today, and I think there were a couple of aspects of his game that were on display in today's match that we probably didn't see quite as much of early at the very start of the MLS season when he was making his debut. And maybe you can, again, add some more context to this about what you saw with him from the twos. I thought, and again, the other difference here was you were playing with 3 center backs previously. When he was in there, you had the 2 center backs and probably a little bit more defensive duties for Dom Chonqui in his previous run at the start of the season. I thought he did a really good job in the first 30 minutes or so getting up into the attack and being dangerous. He had a couple of shots, 1 or 2 that would have been offsides anyways. Not him offsides, Latte Loth had stepped offsides. But getting dangerous, getting up the field, getting into the attack, I think was a slightly newer aspect from him as compared, again, just to what he did the first 2 or 3 games that he played for Atlanta United at the start of the season. And then also, again, we talked about it. I can think of one specific play, but defensively, I think he stood up well against some of the best players currently in MLS, including in the open field on Lionel Messi. Again, I'm not saying he's ready to be a starting left back just yet, but I liked what I saw from Dom Chong-Qui today on the offensive side moving forward, but also in space on an island defensively today.
For Dom, he got his first start, first start since March 29th earlier this year. And that was a absolute, it was an immediate one. It wasn't one that was planned. It was one that you had to make immediately. He was thrown in. And in that matchup, he played 58 minutes. But, I mean, I thought even in that matchup, there was one small mistake. But the one thing that I give Dominic a lot of credit for is he continued to fight in that game, too. And did media after that game as well. And after it was that win against New York, able to come back. It was a comeback victory, too, for Atlanta United. And then able to come in today. It shows the growth that Dominic has had throughout the last couple of months. And not only that time with the first team and then coming back to the second team and really putting on a show and continuing to develop, continuing to improve under interim head coach Jose Silva and being a statement player in that starting 11 for Atlanta United too. And just working on everything from his defensive side of the game, which I think has already been really solid, and continuing to get better and continuing to time his moments and to be smart. And that's what his intellectual understanding of the game has grown so much too. And then also on the offensive end, there's been a couple times in this match he had a couple of shots too coming in there, and a lot of good shots too, trying to make something happen.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, he's got some goals in him.
Absolutely.
I think if he continues to play the way he did today, again, especially in that first 30, 35 minutes, maybe it was up until the 39th when Messi got the goal and things changed a little bit, but he's going to score. If he gets up the field and holds the space on the backside for a switch, and the team finds him, he's got some goals in him. Because I do like the fact that he's looking to shoot. He's looking to go for goals, especially as soon as he gets the ball within that 18, 20-yard mark.
Yeah, Dominic has it in him. He really does.
Yeah, I think it's coming.
In him. And I think that's the one thing that I've loved watching about Dominic's game is him being more comfortable, I think, to make those strides and to get forward, both offensively and defensively. The amount of times in Atlanta United 2 matches I would watch Cooper and Dominic, but more specifically Dominic, driving on the left flank, absolutely just hurling down and able to throw in a cross, and then immediately when a counter's going the other way, hustle all the way back into the back line and then get a tackle and stop that play. And I think that is the biggest growth from Dominic in this match, is just seeing him develop on both sides of the game and just being an impact player in both boxes.
There was some tough situation to watch tonight outside of the 4-0 scoreline, of course. Stian Gregerson dons the captain's armband tonight and is forced out of this game due to what looked, I guess we can call it non-contact injury there. Hopefully it's just a hamstring. We don't have an update, but tough for Stian, who was wearing the captain's armband tonight. It was going to obviously be a central feature of hopefully holding up against Inter Miami. Had to come out in that one. Mazzaferro comes in for him at that time, but tough go for Stian. We still don't have an update, but you just feel bad for him. He had really started to round out into form alongside Mihai, alongside Barakal, wearing the armband tonight. And unfortunately, the injury bug, which has bit him so much over these past 2 seasons, has crept up again. And we'll see what the impact of his status is for next week. I can't imagine he will go, but again, there's nothing official. But hopefully it's something he can recover from relatively quickly and be all set to begin next season with the club. All right, when we come back, a couple more thoughts on Atlanta United's performance, including a discussion about, hey, we saw what these young guys did today. As players come back from their international break, are they going to be 90 minutes fit? Did they play? How rested are they? And did some of these youngsters earn the chance to give this a go one more time? Also, there's another discussion regarding Jaden Hibbert that I want to have as we continue, and we'll start to turn the page to DC United, the final match of this Atlanta United season as well. So again, it's 4-0 here. Inter Miami takes down Atlanta United. The full-time report live in the Kia studios will continue in 5 minutes on Sports Radio 92.9 The Game. Welcome back in. Abe Gordon, Madison Cruz of Soccer Down here, getting set to wrap things up here in a little bit, but before we do that, want to remind you, Atlanta United would like to remind you that for each Atlanta United clean sheet this season, they'll donate $2,000 to the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. This year's donation total to the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta is currently $8,000. And unfortunately, no clean sheet tonight. Well, Miami had one, but I don't think that's how it works. But not to say that Hibbert had some issues. I thought he was very good. I do think on that second goal, and I certainly don't blame Hibbert. It's a snap second decision. I thought maybe there was an opportunity if he attacks the ball at the top of the box. Maybe he can prevent that chip from Jordi Alba. But again, it's such a split second decision. He just got caught in no man's land either way. And you obviously just can't have a ball that easily floated over the top into a dangerous area.
I mean, it's Jordi Alba. That's all. It's one of those decisions too, where if you stand up, you're probably looking at Jordi Alba sliding it right past you too, which is how quick he can be at that moment. And then Jordi Alba too sees where it's running and he's able to pop it in. It's just it's a class finish from Jordi Alba.
And I just say in my mind, the only shot he would have had to prevent that goal. It doesn't even mean that even if he had made the right decision or that decision that it would have been prevented. I mean, the ball is placed in such a dangerous spot for Messi that. You might be in trouble no matter which way you go or which way Alba goes with his finish. So that is there. We'll talk about Hibbert in just a moment. I do want to talk and continue to talk about some of the young guys and also some of the guys coming back from their international break. And again, the injury to Stian Gregerson probably is going to play its role in helping decide the formation and your personnel for this final match against DC United. Are you going to can you go with three center backs if Stian's not one of them? Obviously, Mihai would have to come back from Albania and deal with the travel. And again, I don't know where they played their international game here just most recently, but he's not the only one. There's a number of guys, Saba and Sleesh and Miggy as well, who went wherever they were for international duty and are coming back. Are they ready to get right back into the lineup? A lot of decisions are going to have to be made based on some of those factors this week.
Well, I'll tell you one that happened today, actually. Albania did play Serbia in a UEFA World Cup qualifying. Albania got the 1-0 victory over Serbia, and Anea did come in, but only for a minute, and that was towards the end of the match.
Still part of a clean sheet.
Absolutely.
Should we donate $2,000 to Choa? I don't think I can legally say that because Atlanta United might yell at me. You want to dump that? I'm just kidding. We're all good here. But the point was here is when you look at some of the young guys, Maddie, who played today, again, assuming they're set physically, and I've been obviously wanting to see Dom Chankwi. I'd like to see him again. Mazzaferro, depending on the physicality, and whether Stian is out, I wouldn't mind seeing him again. And Cooper Sanchez as well. I wouldn't mind seeing some of these guys again. I get it. You want to avoid the wooden spoon, and you need to get some sort of result against DC at home to secure that. And so maybe you try and get as close to a first-choice lineup as possible. But I'd be in favor of seeing the young guys again at this point in the season.
I agree. I think they played a very good performance, and I think Sal Mazzaferro had a great performance tonight. I thought he checked in. He was thrown in, especially after that injury to Stian Gregerson, and I thought he played very well, coming in and making an impact in that back line. He had a couple of blocks, a couple of tackles that helped keep it from being a lot more goals. And I thought he settled really nicely in and playing on that right side too, which is something he hasn't done a lot as well. Because he played on that left side, or he played more in the center as well with Atlanta United too, holding things down there. So he handled it really nicely as well, and I thought he did great. And I also think that Patrick Weah, only coming in for a little bit, I thought he did well coming in, and it was really cool getting to see him make his Atlanta United debut as well, especially with the first team. And then, again, Dom and Cooper, I can't say enough about how I thought they were. I thought they were really good in this matchup, and I think they are continuously improving and putting on a good show, especially looking ahead to next year and saying, hey, I can be someone that you can rely upon, and I can be someone that can make an impact, and I can be someone who can help you in matches.
Yeah, and so we'll see how it plays out when we get the lineup and kind of through the week. We'll try and get a feel for who's back, who needs rest and really what the goal is for this final match of the campaign for Atlanta United. We do have one segment left, and I do need to present a situation here to Madison Cruz of Soccer Down here in kind of where I stand, see if she agrees, see if she wants to counter. We'll lay all the cards out on the table when we come back. The full-time report, one segment left here after Atlanta United falls on the road to Inter Miami 4-0 tonight. We'll talk a little bit about one more aspect of something I expect maybe might play out against DC United in a week's time. That's what's coming up next. The full-time report on Sports Radio 92.9 The Game. Welcome back in. Final couple moments. It's Abe Gordon, Madison Cruz, the full-time report, wrapping up here on a Saturday night as Atlanta United falls to Inter Miami. I do want to talk about one thing heading into the finale, a home game against DC United, and the potential discussion that has to be had. I would imagine the discussion's already been had. But I do wonder if on Saturday, if this club has decided that Brad Guzan is not going to be brought back in any capacity next year, I do wonder if they honor him in some way. And I know they haven't made any big statements on the future of the goalkeeping position, and this has nothing to do with Jaden Hibbert. It is certainly not an indictment of 4 goals against him today. I would not be surprised if on Saturday, late afternoon, remember it's a slightly different game time, all the Eastern Conference games kicking off at 6, so we'll have the countdown, 5 Stripes countdown there at 5. I would not be surprised if we hear that Brad Guzan is going to be starting in goal. It might be his final match with this club, his final home match, and at some point late in the second half, you sub him off for either Hibbert or Cohen to give him that moment, to let the home fans recognize a player in Goose that is one of the most impactful members of this franchise's history. Again, nothing has been said officially as to whether this is his last game wearing the 5 stripes. I wouldn't be surprised if it were, based on where this club is headed. And I think it'd be the right thing to do to give him a way to be honored by the fans.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like you said, though. I mean, a decision hasn't been made yet about his future and what's going to happen. But it would be
I think a decision has been made. It just hadn't been publicized.
It would be really cool to see Brad finish out the season next week at the Benz.
And look, I think that's probably... Boy, I'd love to be inside of these discussions. Who even starts that discussion? Obviously, it could come from the top, right? Dyla and Chris Henderson and Garth Lagerwey, who's now rejoined the club, and we're happy to hear that. He's through the first phase of his treatments. And even Arthur Blank might be involved there. It's obviously a situation where Goose probably knows potentially what his future holds, and maybe he asks for that. I think it'd also be very cool if Hibbert is aware of the situation and says, hey, this is his moment, his time. And again, we don't know. This is my assumption, me, Abe Gordon, not affiliated with the front office and the staff, the technical operations of Atlanta United. This is my assumption, is that this is probably Goose's last game wearing the 5 stripes jersey. And if that is the case, if my assumption is correct, this is how it should go down. This is how he should go out. He should be starting in this game. He should be pulled late, 84th, 85th minute, to one of the biggest applauses we've had at Mercedes-Benz this season. If that is the timeline for his career, his contract, that's how I would play out this final home match against DC United. I think it's the right way to send a guy who can only be described as a club legend out properly. That's how I feel.
It's one of those things for me, and I know I was a fan. I was a founding member with my family. I was at the inaugural game at Bobby Dodd Stadium back in 2017. And for me, watching this team, this is my club. Like, this is my team. Like, I supported this team since it was first started and everything through, and Brad Guzan has been a part of that. And he is one of the most impactful players I think this club's ever had. And just, I think his name alone, I think it's always going to be there with Atlanta United no matter what. And that's the thing. We don't know what's going to happen next week either, but, it would be really cool to see Brad finish out the season next week.
Yeah, and again, I don't know what is the next step for him. Maybe it's continuing here. Maybe it's continuing elsewhere. Maybe it's rejoining this club in a different capacity, whether it's a coaching staff or an ambassador or whatever it might be. Maybe it's the media. I think we've seen him foray a little bit. Don't get too good. I still like my job here. But I think we all understand that, and it'll be interesting to see, and certainly we'll have full coverage of that for you with the Five Stripes Countdown, because that's it tonight for the Full-Time Report. Join us again, 5 o'clock. On Saturday, November 18th for our next broadcast, Atlanta United, the season finale at home against DC United. Special thanks to Dom Churosky, our producer in studio here. For Mike and Jason, the voices of Atlanta United, safe travels as always. I want to thank Madison Cruz, of course, of Soccer Down Here for joining me. I am Abe Gordon. Once again, the final today on Sports Radio 92.9 The Game. Inter Miami 4 and Atlanta United 0.